time. Pre-mark prep on my money climb. Charts and trends, let's make it clear. Trade today, no fear when you're here. Gamma flow, the light food fight. Strategy is sharp, we're leading the way. Sunset reps it on the day. Zazzle time. It's Zazzle time. Zazzle time. Guess what? It's Zazzle time.
Kind of buffering on mine.
Okay, hello and welcome to this episode of Crypto Pre-Market Prep. I'm your host Biz, coming with you with a new setup, new city even, but still here, ready to chart Bitcoin, ready to chart crypto markets, and over the weekend I think we hit the all-time highs and a lot of other things. But I was doing a bit of trading with a ME all weekend, as well as XRP, so fun times. But I got a love-hate relationship with ME, so I don't know. Yesterday I actually took a profit at 75%, but it's not even taking it at 75%. I think when I first got into that trade, I'm still down like $25 or something like that. So I'm still down overall 25%. So ME sort of got the best of me, but that was sort of my weekend. Andy, how was yours?
I don't know, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. I've done more kind of studying and research and things like that than trading. And I woke up this morning around 5:30, something like that, and then literally as soon as I got online, Bitcoin was shooting up, and so yeah, it was very good to watch it get to that new all-time high. I'm sure there are going to be more, but we can get into it. There's a lot to go through today because there's a lot of news, there's a lot of sort of analysis stuff. So yeah, we can just crack on if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. But just before we start, I hope are we live and everything like that? Because this is also a new setup, so just want to make sure before we go that we're actually good to go. Does everything look okay?
Yes, we are live. I can hear me and you on the stream.
Sweet. So welcome all, and yeah, let's get cracking.
Okay, cool. So I've got two market health reports to show. One from the start of the trading day UTC 0 hours. That's my 7 a.m. in the morning. And as you can see, the 4 hour had not yet kind of moved up, because although by this time, it's the start not only of a trading day, it's the start of a trading week, and the alts had not responded to the rising Bitcoin. Bitcoin had started going up, and it tends to do it quickly when it does, and then the alts take a bit of time to think about it before they start to follow. So and because that happened literally as we were ending the trading week, you can't see that in this report. But then by the time 12 hours later, when this report came out, that I posted here an hour ago, what's happened is that Bitcoin got to an all-time high, the alts started to follow, and then of course Bitcoin started doing a pullback, as one would expect, and of course the alts fell more. So the alts have been bleeding a bit because of that, because they didn't rise as much as Bitcoin, and then they started falling when Bitcoin fell. It's very strange. There's a delay going up, but there's no bloody delay when Bitcoin goes down. Yeah. They all just start to drop, and they drop at a ratio of sometimes 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 10 to 1. So it depends on the volatility in a token as to what percentage difference happens. If Bitcoin falls 1%, they fall 3, they or 5 or 10. Depends on the token really. So as you can see here, The 4-hour is down, the 12-hour has gone back down. The day's untouched because we won't find that out until tomorrow. In terms of the sectors are still fairly high, except for meme. Meme is around 50% mark. We know at the moment that memes are lagging. And I suspect they'll make a comeback. And there's some stuff to show you in the kind of news, which is kind of eerie and interesting and frightening and exciting and all kinds of stuff, right? As a software engineer, I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. So that's the market health. You know, we're in an uptrend. So let's move on to BTC. I've gone to the 5-minute chart here. I've just been monitoring it on this chart today. As you can see here, what happened was that around sort of 5:55 my time, it started kicking off, and then it came down here, and then by a lot 7:30, we'd got to like the all-time high. And what's interesting is, before I show you some analysis on that, I'm going to go to a different BTC chart, which is it's the index of BTC, which goes all the way back. We did close the week at the highest close ever for Bitcoin, because that happened at 0000 hours this morning, UTC, my 7 a.m. But that's not what I want to show you. I want to go to the month chart, because what's interesting, I've just mapped out this here, that this was the halving in 2024, which was around March, April. That text probably should be moved a little bit. And if we go back in time to the cycle tops of the previous bull markets, what you can find is that that arrow gets very big here. In 2013, it ended in about November. And the halving was the year before. In 2017, it ended in sort of December, and the halving was the year before. In 2021, strange cycle, because we kind of had two tops. The top, some people argue that the top was here, because we only got another 5% when we went back to here, which was in the November, and the halving was in the year before. So here we are in 2024. The halving has happened this year. So the theory goes that we are not near a cycle end, and that if everything goes historically to plan, which doesn't mean it will, that the cycle will end at some point. And like last time, it was sort of April, debatable April, November. It could end April, November next year. So Bitcoin probably hasn't finished its run yet. So that's just a kind of interesting historical take on the stats of how Bitcoin has reached its all-time highs in the November after the year of the halving. And so, yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Now let's go back to Bitcoin. So on the 5-minute chart, so it shot up today, as you can see. Now, what I've marked in the orange box, because it's on the 5-minute chart, as you can see, is what's called an order block, and I'm going to allude more to this as I move into this quick description. The problem is that it's quite a detailed subject, and so I won't be able to cover everything tonight, but I will show you the kind of findings that it reveals. But an order block is like a demand zone, but an order block specifically where there's probably a lot of orders waiting to happen. And what happens is many retail traders, they look for this kind of area to buy in on a pullback, and they may place their order as it hits this place here. And they put their, if I just move that back over here, it comes down and hits here, and they go in and they put their stop loss just beneath the bottom of this. And then it starts to go back up, but then suddenly you get this drop. And this is what's known as a liquidity sweep. So the smart money, the big money, says, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stop all these people out. And what happens is it comes down here, and very quickly, like in this V shape, it starts to go back up. But what's happened is many like retail traders have been stopped out at this point. They were hoping for maybe to go back up to here, what they thought was a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio, but it didn't pan out that way. And so if I just get rid of that drawing. So what happened was it came down here. Now this order block here, kind of, once it's kind of come in, it's no longer really an order block. It's more like a demand zone. So I've left this box this size only because I wanted to show that demonstration of what happened. But what happened was it went up, but kept coming back to this demand zone down here. And if you look at what's called the volume profile, which is all to do with what I'm going to show you after this, you get this thing called the point of control. And if I put that on, you'll see that the point of control for this trading day, these blocks are in like 0 UTC to 2359 UTC, right before the start of the day. The deemed fair price, where the bulk of the volume is right in the middle of this demand zone here. So this is where the market is saying that the fair price should be after the pullback. So if I go back to here, you can see it's right there. Now, if it's been in a demand zone for ages and ages, there's a good chance it's going to fall through, which is what it did. And it fell through to this demand zone here, which is on a 3-minute, bounced off it. Now, to bring in hold and break levels into this, there's a point where I think in this one it's bounced, where it was here or something, it bounced off a break level, but as you can see, it kind of didn't go up very much. And the volume profile on what I'm going to show you next is how you can help determine. It's not like it doesn't happen every time, right? But it's more information about, will this particular break level or hold level actually succeed, or will it fall through it? And as you can see, it went up and again came down to this 15-minute demand zone here and bounced off that. So whether that holds, we don't know. But what we really want, if you go to, say, the 4-hour chart, is we know we're in an uptrend. We're getting higher highs, we're getting higher lows. And what we really want is that this continues to do that. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. The structure of this uptrend will break down if we go beneath this last higher low here. At the moment, we haven't. We've formed a new higher low if it keeps going up. Locally here, you can see we're kind of in a little mini downtrend, and we're getting lower highs and we're getting lower lows. But on the higher tail, we're still in that uptrend. So this is like a normal pullback, right? And what the other thing that I discovered yesterday, and it's a very detailed subject to go through, so I'm not going to go through all of it, is this, which is called the footprint. And what the footprint is, it takes a bit of time for it to gather this, because as you can see, there's a lot of information here. So when I go into this footprint is effectively the order book of how things transpired within each candle. So what you can do is when you get to a level like a demand zone here, you can kind of see whether it's going to succeed to go up or down. There's lots of information here. There's these little red bands to the left, right, which is called an imbalance. There's little green bands to the right, and when you get called imbalances, and when you get when you get 3 or more, it's called a stacked imbalance, and you get this little green band that goes across, and that becomes more of a support area within it. But you can learn so much, like the deltas here. You can get a negative delta, but a candle can go up. You can get a positive delta, but a candle can go down. And what it shows you is who's in control here, the buyers or the sellers. The grey box is called the high volume node, which is where the bulk of the orders took place. And if I can find a candle that shows this, yeah, this one does. This VAH and VAL is where 70% of the orders took place. Now, what's interesting about the orders, of course, and this is why the current candle, if you went all the way forward to the current candle, you can't necessarily rely on just this candle. That this is because it's got a negative delta here, it's going to go down, because stop limit orders are not actually orders. They are held by the broker, be it your exchange. In this case, I think I'm looking at Binance chart. And only when they hit do they become a market order. There's also these things that the institutions use called iceberg orders, right? That are like huge orders. And so that they don't flood the market with a huge limit order, they come in pieces. They come in smaller pieces. So things like stop limit orders, things like iceberg orders, things like that, they only know the truth once something has closed here. And so you can see when you come out of this, that this is yet another way to confirm, to help you confirm, should I buy at this level, should I not buy at this level? If you look at this candle, it had a positive delta. The darker the color, the more orders. I've mentioned imbalances and the deltas. Now, if you go to, hang on, let me get to here. I'll come back to our friend there. If we go to this one, you'll see that the CVD here is called the cumulative volume deltas. So that is all these deltas here that you can see on the 5-minute chart. If you went to the hour, you'd see them for the hour. 15-minute, you'd see them the 15-minute. And when you go to CoinGlass and you put Bitcoin on here, and you put this here, you can then run TA over this to see if you've got divergences within the deltas and things like that. So it's another added way to help you determine whether supply and demand zones will hold, whether break and hold levels will hold when you reach it, or will it go through it. And so I found that very interesting. I'm learning more and more about it every day, and I will sort of, as I discover more, the breakdown of a footprint chart is the point of control, the highest traded volume, the volume high, and the volume area low. Because in statistics, there's something called the empirical rule. And in the empirical rule, it's when you find the mean of some statistics in this Gaussian, it's called a Gaussian distribution. 68%, it turns out, on average, of the bulk of the stats end up on the first deviation. If you minus the deviation to the left or add the deviation to the right, you end up with 68%. But in trading, for whatever reason, everybody rounds it to 70. They don't like 68, so they round it to 70. And that's what these numbers are in the VAH and VAL, right? So you get the 70% is within this area, these blocks here. Now you can split these node areas into different ones. I've got it set to 5. No, I've got it set to 14 on Bitcoin, because if you go any lower, it just, there's too much data. There are too many orders, right? So it can't, TradingView just can't deal with it. But it's a really interesting take on whether a level will hold. And when you use that in conjunction with this, where the fair price, according to this, is here, it's kind of interesting. And that brings you back to the, if you remember, I talked about the VWAP. I can't remember where I put this on. Was it here? No, it was down. I think it was here. If I put it here, you can see that when you go to the volume there, it's almost on par with that, right? It's literally, because a VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So it kind of is similar to what the volume profile is doing. Bitcoin now, it's bounced off this demand zone here and is going back up. So it looks like, unless it reverses, that we formed a higher high. What we need to break this is that it goes above this high here, gets broken, so we get higher highs and then higher lows to see if it's reversed. But overall, Bitcoin's doing great. So that's the take on Bitcoin. All-time high today. highest week that we've ever had on Bitcoin, and it's having a pullback like one would expect it should. But I would expect now that we may go a little bit lower, but we're now going. And what's interesting is when I come to the news, as you know, MicroStrategy have now joined the NASDAQ 100. They are officially a part of the NASDAQ 100. And once he's done that, he's hinted that he's having another Bitcoin buy after he's joined the NASDAQ. So he's going to be purchasing a bunch more Bitcoin above 100K. I don't know if that's going to influence the price. It depends on how many he buys. But that's a really kind of interesting thing that he's got. This guy's all in, isn't he?
Yeah.
Michael Saylor is literally all in on Bitcoin. By the way, Biz, please feel free to butt in. Because I've got a lot to go through, I'm just going fast, right?
Yeah,
but
no, I was gonna say like your chart earlier basically identifies zones. So even if you did pull back, like when you had the other indicator on, with the bars or the also
which one?
not the volume,
the
but
the footprint or the volume profile?
not the volume profile, the footprint.
The footprint, yeah.
Yeah, and so it actually identifies zones. So those are zones
Yes, it does. It identifies who's in control. Once a candle's closed, you can't determine it when a candle's open. Because the order book, of course, as you said, stop limit orders are not actually on the order book. They're held by the broker. When it gets hit, it creates a market order and sells at that point. And that's when they come into this list here. The same with these kind of big institutions with iceberg orders. They release a few, they get bought or sold. They release some more, then they release some more, then they release some more. So only once the footprint has closed can you tell where you're going, right? Mm-hmm. But you can see that when you get a massive imbalance, like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the way imbalances work, by the way, and again, that's why I'm saying it's a very complex subject, this. That's where they were mostly traded, the grey area. But an imbalance is that there's at least 3 times a bullish imbalance, an ask. There's bid and asks, right? An ask imbalance is where there's 3 times more than the diagonally opposite one on the bid beneath it. And the opposite is true here on the bid side. You get an imbalance if this is at least 3 times greater than the one above it on the right. So it's like a diagonal relationship between this. But if you get stacked ones, it tells you that there's a lot of interest here. So that green there can become a level of support or resistance, depending on what it is. So it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's just yet another it's not a reason to buy, but it's a reason to feel confident, to help you feel confident or not confident, right? Something's going to go.
It can add to your zone of confluence. When
absolutely.
More indicators go to one area, then it just adds to your thesis, adds strength to your thesis.
Yeah. And of course, I saw this, what was kind of an order block is, I'm not going to describe it tonight, but I can do it a different day. But there's quality. It has to qualify to be classed as an order block where there are a bunch of orders in place. But once it gets broken, once that came down and broken it's kind of no longer an order block because you're assuming they've got filled. But what you end up with is a demand zone, right? You can see clearly the demand. And when you put that back on, you can see why, because the kind of major point of control where the price and the volume is right in between that, what was an order block that's now a demand zone. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of does work, but it's not a reason to go in, but it's a reason to give you confidence to go in. But as you know, I'm the more, you're more the degen, I'm not. If we move on to me, I'll just show you this.
Wow, good thing I got out of that.
You would not trade that unless you were shorting it.
Oh
right?
My goodness.
Because they're shorting the shit out of it. Yeah, right.
I'm so mad at this.
You're right. I mean, you can't
right now.
There's no market kind of structure here other than a downtrend right now, right? So you've got to wait. If you want to long it, you've got to wait for it to kind of come up
You see that
here
V-shaped
and
recovery
break
a little
this
bit? That was a fake
this
out.
here.
Yeah, I actually got in there. I rode that move up. I think I was like from the bottom to the top of that move was like 150% move.
Yeah, right.
And then when it broke down, I was like, I got out at 75%. But like the one move before that, like completely destroyed the trade. So I mean, I'm still
Yeah,
down like
right.
25% overall. But man,
But you could draw these demand zones in here, like
oh
right? So
man,
you
I don't
get
know.
this
I'm so done with this
and you get
token. I'm
this.
not. It's not like
Oh no, I'm
it's
not
not a
talking
fun one
about
to
this
trade
one.
at all.
I'm
It's
talking
not.
about
Yeah.
I'm talking about any coin. I've been
Like
looking at this one today, right? Putting these levels on, and they've all been working out, right? They're just working out. You can see how it started here, went up, touched it, came all the way down,
yeah.
started up, then started a new. We don't know if it's a supply zone or a demand zone, but boom, came down, touched it, came down. The more times it touches it, the weaker it gets, really.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very interesting. So let's move on because I have some news where I saw this today and I was like, holy shit, the future of trading
Okay.
is about to hit us.
Let's see.
And it's this. It's called this is just one of them. It's called Gem XBT.
Okay.
And what this does, I'm going to zoom in here. It's an AI agent
Oh my goodness,
that
I heard about
actually is
this.
looking through charts,
Yeah.
right? And this is Sparkcoin,
Yeah.
which is very popular at the
Yeah.
moment, right? If you've heard of that. And it does the technical analysis on charts and then tweets its findings to Twitter and to Telegram.
Oh my.
And it's got something like a 6 million market cap now, and it's 10x'd over the last 2 weeks. And I think I've got it here. It's having a pullback right now, but it's literally, as you can see, gone up a lot, right? And all the time, I've not refreshed this recently, but let me refresh this. I'm sure it's done some more, but this is pure AI. This Colin coin, I don't know this one, where it's giving you TA. Now this is just the beginning of what these AI agents are going to do, particularly if they can get access to real historical data and they're trained on TA in that kind of sense, and some kind of trading strategies and all of this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But AI
Andy,
trading
Andy,
and
are
AI
you hinting at
analysis
something?
is here. Say that again?
Are you hinting at something?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, well, really, time to retire. But maybe, you know. But yes, this is fascinating. I mean, it's called GemXVT. Follow them on Twitter and look them up on. And as you can see, it's a Pump Fund thing, right? It's get started on Pump Fund.
Oh, what?
It's very, very interesting. And if you go here, their website is literally GemXBT is an AI agent that performs both fundamental and technical analysis, sharing insights on Twitter and Telegram. And then you can go to Pump Fund to buy it. And if you go on CoinGecko, they have a 7.7 million market cap now.
Seems kind of small.
It's just but if so, the price right now is 0.005, right? So I was looking at it today because in a wallet I've got a very small amount of Sol because I transferred it all out. I've got like $15 of Sol, and I thought I'm waiting for it to come down.
Yeah.
I'm just going to buy $15 worth and forget about it, right? Leave it in my wallet and just forget about it. But who knows, right? So that's that. And then the next piece of news: Trump buys Athena, and ENA surges 525%. I think that's bullshit, right? But what's interesting is Athena. If you look in our elite channel, we gave an alert for Athena on the 7th of November, and it went up 170%. And I've got it on here. We gave it here. This is long before Trump's company bought it, right? Long before. So this whole 525%, unless they're claiming the whole move from down here. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're They're claiming the whole move, but
Oh man,
Trump
it's just
didn't. Trump bought.
headlining. They just clickbait. But it's big news though.
It's clickbait.
It
Yeah,
is big news.
it's big news. Yeah, he bought it only a few days ago,
Yeah.
or yesterday. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, we gave that tip a long time ago, which is kind of cool. What's my next piece of news? Oh yes, now this is not trading related, but I just thought it was well interesting. So I don't know if you're aware of Ilya Sutskever, who was one of the founders of OpenAI, and what he's saying is that the AI pre-training age will soon be over because they're running out of data. You know, we've got one internet with one amount of data historically. They've absorbed all of that. So now they're going to be finding new ways in which AI can learn and become much more super intelligent. Put all of that into all of the things we've just been talking about, with things like that GEM, what's it called again? GEM
Yo, hold on. Where was it in
XBT.
Vancouver? Let me check this out. The conference in Vancouver. Okay, maybe I'll look this up. I didn't even know they had.
Yeah, the 2024 conference in Vancouver. Yeah, the Neural Information Processing Systems 2024 conference. I'm sure you heard of that. What's it called? NIPS.
No.
NIPS. I know why they've called it NeurIPS, because NIPS sounds
Yo,
like
what
nipples,
happened?
right?
It's the
That's a hell of an acronym. but
come
but,
on, man.
but
You
yes,
couldn't do it for the
so
culture.
this is worth just search for that, and that's a very interesting thing. I think I've been through all the chart stuff, so I'm kind of done, Biz. Any questions?
Yeah, no, that was good, man. There's so much information to take away here. I think it was pretty cool. How you, man, I didn't even forget that. So what was that strategy called again? It was the not the volume one, the one beside it.
Oh, the footprint. So,
Sorry, the footprint.
just as a matter of interest,
Yeah.
the volume footprint, you can only get this if you pay. I'm a premium member of TradingView. If you've got a free account, you can't get it. I don't know if you can get the volume profile. You might, but you can't get this volume footprint. It's very, very telling, and as I said, it's a deep subject in the sense of, you've got to kind of learn about these deltas and CVDs and imbalances, and then the point of control. So it takes a bit of time to learn, but it's bloody fascinating, right? And it can help you when you get to, say, a break and hold level, or supply and demand levels, or an order block level. You can actually sort of look at this stuff and say, what is my confidence level to buy now, or should I wait for it to break through? I mean, I always wait for confirmation, as you know, but you kind of don't. You're definitely, you'd have been in here, right? But
I don't know. That's tough.
I'm kind of.
That's tough.
Yeah.
First of all, like, it doesn't even. Well, where are we here? That's a 5-minute chart too. Oh man, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, you're pretty much expecting the person to catch a falling knife, like for that V-shaped.
Yes,
recovery.
but that's a good point, right? Because so we said that if you go to the 4-hour chart, right, it's zooming up. So we're definitely in an uptrend.
Yeah.
Let's call it a kind of run up, and we know that a run up on a lower time frame contains trends. So you can have mini downtrends within an uptrend, right? So you kind of maybe go down to the 15-minute, and you start looking for these kind of things. So you can look to see that you're breaking higher highs and higher lows, and you can look to see at what point that breaks down. So we got a higher high here, and then a higher high, which is the top, and then you can see we got a lower high down here.
Yeah.
So you now know that locally we're in a downtrend, but on a higher time frame we're in massive uptrend. So this is just a standard pullback.
Yeah.
But it's where, as a trader, if you're day trading, you want to know, well, should I get in now? And the reason that I think it's important for Bitcoin is like the ultimate indicator for most of the alts. If Bitcoin's falling, the alts are falling. If Bitcoin's going up, the alts will be swept along with it, slightly lagged, but they will be swept along with it. And it's kind of, so it's like understanding where Bitcoin is in its cycle, or in terms of is it in a localized downtrend, is it in an uptrend, and the higher time frame is very, very important, right? It's very, very important. But anyway, as we move forward, we'll be sharing on these streams. Biz and I will be sharing news in terms of anything we learn about, that XBT that we found today and stuff like that. We'll be sharing news about the industry, like we did with SUI and its ecosystem last week. We'll be sharing trading stuff. We will be sharing as we start going forward. I'll be coming on camera as well. And so therefore I came up with this title for it called Boomer and Degen, because I've been around quite a bit longer than Biz has. So we'll both be on camera and we'll be coming up with different approaches and I've got some ideas that I'm going to share with Biz later. So hopefully this will become a lot more entertaining as we move forward, but ultimately more informative. So yeah, that's it from me for today, Biz.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And hopefully, I'll be back. I'll be heading back to back home tonight, or in the afternoon. So I'll be back to my normal setup. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of last minute trying to put things together, and but I'm glad we got it to work, and I'm glad that we got to go live. And yeah, so anyways, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks, Sandy, for taking the time to show the insights and drop some knowledge. There's definitely a lot to absorb. I might have to. It takes some time to digest it, but I do find it interesting with the AI and stuff like that, and just maybe thinking, is there anything we can do with that side of things? Because seems like it really depends on how you prompt the XBT, and especially with
there's a lot of them coming out, right? And as we move forward, we'll just keep sharing what we learn. I spend all my day and I'm looking. This is just all AI.
Yeah, exactly.
It does the tweeting.
So it really comes down.
It does the chart.
Yeah, it comes down to strategy, right? So what type of strategy are they using, and how is the AI communicating the strategy so people can make more informed decisions? It's pretty interesting.
Right. So I think at the moment this is painting a picture.
Yeah.
It's saying showing a bearish trend.
Yeah.
Right. The RSI is hovering around 50, indicating lack of strong momentum. So it's not necessarily giving you a trading strategy and telling you where to buy.
No.
But AI agents are giving you the picture of a particular coin right now. So and I think it kind of concentrates on a lot of these smaller kind of meme coins and AI coins. And I've never heard of Luigi, for instance, things like that. I only just heard about Fartcoin today. So, but anyway, it's fascinating, and we will be sharing a lot more as we learn and share with you. And if anybody's got things they think we should be discussing, please drop them in our Twitter, join our Discord, talk to us about it. We're more than happy. We're all learning together. We're all hopefully making money in this market.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's it for today. This is December 16th, Crypto Pre-Market Prep. I am your host, Biz, and we are gonna go live with the market in about an hour. So stay safe out there. This is just a temporary pullback, and we look forward to doing this again tomorrow, same time.